we are mildly interesting guys, and we talk about some stuff. So welcome to the podcast, we call it Joel the Podcast. It's Alex and it's Alex, here for Joel the Podcast. Bzz. Hello everybody, I'm Alex.
And I'm Alex.
And this is our podcast,
Joel.
Welcome to episode 90. Is that correct?
Yeah, it is correct.
Of Joel the Podcast.
What a monumental podcast number.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say like... No, I would say monumental. I'm trying to like reserve some hype for 100, which will be a much bigger deal, but I still think monumental is an appropriate term.
I feel like... What do you think of this? What if we either like during the week this week or over the next couple of weeks devise some sort of like countdown to 100 scheme for the podcast? And the reason I say maybe over the course of a couple of weeks is I'm really hoping that a listener will send in a suggestion.
Well, if you want a listener to send in a suggestion, you're going to have to post the episodes. Which brings me to my next point that, David, in case you didn't know, as we record this, Nathan has not posted episode 87. And
no, I have posted 87, just not 88
you haven't posted
or
88, which is, last week's episode. No, 2 weeks ago's episode. Or last week's episode. So I don't know how your system works to deduct points, but I feel like some points should be deducted for that. So
I think, since this is definitely the first infraction, you could take it easy. But let it be known that from here on out, I feel like this is the start of a new era of
Welcome to Joel the Podcast Season 3.
Season 3, the one where we're on time. Every time.
Do you think we'll ever start recording on, like, not recording, but start our Skype call on time? I think we never will.
You mean like right at 7? I feel like that's not such a hard task.
Right, but I mean, I guess maybe if we were really trying to, we could, but I don't think that's ever going to be, like, a priority.
I guess that's fair, yeah. I if I'm not, like, sitting at my computer at 7, I don't feel bad or anything, because...
Right.
There's... I guess what you're getting at and what I'm kind of saying here is that, like, there's no consequences, so we probably won't put in the small amount of effort it would take.
Right, because my point is basically, I'm always the one ready first, and I don't even start moving to the basement here until 8 at the earliest. Right. So, like, it's never going to be the case, I don't think, that I'm down here at 8 and ready, and you're also ready at 8. Like, I don't know this for sure, but I suspect that you don't even, like that if I didn't, like, text you to Skype me, like, it wouldn't be till, like, 8:20, 8:30 that you were like, oh, I should get on the Skype now.
That may be true at this point, only because I now kind of count on you to let me know when you're ready.
Uh-huh.
Because I'll just go about my evening until that point, and then it'll be like, all right, we're ready to go now.
The hilarious thing is that I come down here and try to Skype you every single time, and you're always offline every single time, so then I text you. I don't know why I even bother at this point.
Just one of these weeks it'll work.
Maybe.
I feel like the real strategy should just be like some small number of minutes before 7, one of us should text the other, "Are you ready?" to kind of kickstart the process. It's
like a short recovery, but every time you say 7, I'm thrown off. Like, wait, 7? So
it's not that important, so I don't think we're going to change. But if we did want to change, I feel like that would be the way to do it.
Oh, you froze for me.
Oh, no.
I'm probably talking over you in the recording now.
I'm actually waiting until you stop talking to start talking, so it'll probably sound fine.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, good. So let's do the next thing.
Yeah, the next thing is to let everyone know that Nathan owes me $4.
Ooh. Yeah, I was not expecting that to be the next thing.
That's like literally always the second thing.
It is literally always the second thing, but usually it's that I owe you no dollars, which is better.
Indeed. Yeah, but unfortunately for you, it's not.
Yeah, much in the same way that you owe me no dollars.
Right.
So that's that. Let's move on to the next thing.
The next thing is our Sports Minute. So let me get out my timer here.
Is it weird that, like, I know this is how it's going to go, but I also always feel like we're moving very quickly through the introduction and forgetting things?
I don't know. Maybe a little bit. I think I accidentally just deleted my 1-minute timer.
Oh, no. Now you're going to know how I felt that one time where I had to create from scratch a 1-minute timer.
Honestly, I have so many timers. I need to delete. Like, who needs a 45-minute timer?
It's really just, I don't think it's a very good implementation.
Right.
Of...
I hate this timer implementation. It is so annoying.
It's really unnecessary to save every different timer value I've ever created and to force me to, like, scroll through them if I want to.
Like, I actually like the idea, like, normally when you think of timer, you just, like, think of a single timer, so you just set the time whenever you're about to use it. I actually don't think it's a bad idea to save the times. Like, what if there's something you frequently use, like 1 minute, for example. It's nice to be able to just go right to it. But their interface is so bad because, like, I have to scroll through. There's not, like, a list of timers. I have to scroll through every single timer I have. So
yeah. They should, if you're listening to this, Google, so whatever random Google employee has been assigned to personally screen this YouTube video for inappropriate content or copyright or whatever.
Yeah, or if it's an AI, also you can do this AI.
Right. So whoever you are or whatever you are, please tell your boss/creator or whatever.
Tell someone who can do something about it.
Yeah, have them. You know, I don't think we can concisely describe what needs to happen to this timer. So really, what you should do is tell your superiors to email us.
Yes.
They can find our email at our website, which is alexandalex@joelthepodcast.get.hub.io/alexandalex@joelthepodcast.website/index.html. And send us an email to let us know to send you an email about how to make your timer less bad.
Indeed. I was going to say, I can definitely describe it concisely, but then they wouldn't be sending us an email, so I definitely cannot describe it concisely.
I feel like I could probably describe it concisely, but what I really want to do is send some screenshots, you know?
What I really want to do is describe it at length.
I think, oh man, what a high effort joke. I think it would be pretty funny to write like a 60-page document to Google describing how they should adjust their timer UI to better suit my specific use case.
I think it would be. I think it's way more funny to say that you would do that than to actually do it.
Yeah, the idea of it and the final product of it are funny, and then the hours and hours that it takes to actually execute are just miserable.
20 years from now, you just send Google gets this now when this whole timer interface is totally gone. Here's why your timer interface stinks. At least it did 20 years ago.
Back in 2021.
Okay, so yeah, now that I have the timer ready now.
All right, and I believe that all counts as our talk about the Sports Minute being longer than the Sports Minute.
Here we go.
It was really about the timer. Let's
3, 2,
begin.
1. So, there's 3 sports going on right now: basketball, hockey, and baseball. And they're all chugging along. Basketball and hockey are somewhat close to the end of their seasons. Probably a few weeks left. And the Sixers are doing quite well. And I went to the Phillies game the other day.
How was the Phillies game the other day?
It was so good. So it's the Philly Fanatics' birthday.
Wait a minute. The mascot?
The mascot's birthday.
Is it the date that they created the mascot, or did they just assign a day? Or is it a date related to the team?
I have no idea.
Oh.
Apparently, the mascot is now 71 years old.
That's pretty old to be, like, out there doing mascot stuff.
Yeah, well, it wasn't out there for the entire time. It had to grow up. It grew up on the Galapagos Islands, and that's the time.
We don't need any more context than that. Let's move on.
So,
the Philadelphia sports mascots are so weird.
And they were all there for his birthday. So excited to see Gritty at a Phillies game.
If you don't know what Gritty is, look up a picture of Gritty.
Gritty is the best. All right, so that's our sports minute. I feel like I had something I wanted to say, but I forgot. So let's just go to the email.
That's right. This week we did receive an email. It came to us just earlier today, actually, which is good timing. Way to get yourself onto the podcast just in time. This is of course from David. He clearly knows when we record. The subject line of this email is "You are dumbasses."
No.
No, I'm just kidding. It says "I am a dumbass."
Oh.
That whole sentence was the subject line.
Oh, the subject line. Wait, say it again now. Now that I know what the sentence is.
All right. The subject line is "You are dumbasses." I'm just kidding. It says "I am a dumbass." That whole sentence is the subject
I'm just
line.
kidding. It says is in the subject line.
I'm just kidding. It says is in the subject line.
Okay.
The subject line again is "You are dumbasses." I'm just kidding. It says "I am a dumbass."
Got it.
That whole sentence is the subject line.
Got it.
And that bit is included in the subject line. I don't know if I'm making that clear.
Right. Yes.
The subject line is "You are dumbasses." I think now we're going to get an email calling us dumbasses. All right. The email says, "Hi, Alex and Alex. I think the idea of taking points off of the person responsible for podcasts not being uploaded on time seems good.
Yes.
Again, I want to stress this is starting this week. Whenever it is that you are listening to this, moving forward, you can deduct points."
David, I think you need to deduct points immediately for this. Go on.
It's up to. It's not really. I guess it's not up to him. It's up to me. So
he's the one keeping track of the points, so it's up to him.
I guess we're making a suggestion here. We both agree that you should start now.
No, I don't agree. Only you agree. I disagree.
Oh. The email goes on. I believe there is some delay going on here, rightly so. So I need to know whose fault this was so I can adjust score accordingly.
Nathan.
Again, I would argue that it's no one's fault.
It's not no one's fault. It's very clearly your fault.
So, again, a point of contention there. I think we need some form of third-party arbitration here to really sort out the details. But you've heard both sides of the story, and I think you can decide.
I'll accept literally any email from a real listener, although that to arbitrate this dispute, because no reasonable person would side with you in this case.
That's harsh, but probably correct.
Randall Monroe, if you're listening, please email us and settle this dispute.
Yeah, we've appointed him as the arbitrator now.
He's the number one choice, but if he's not available, we'll accept someone else.
I feel like, what would make a good XKCD is like an interactive panel where you could type in a question and it would kind of like parse the sorts of words you're using and give you a reasonable sounding answer that's basically yes or no. Or like if you ask how many or something, it'll like spit out a number or something.
Sounds
like that.
Sounds like you just want a Google search engine as the comment.
No. I want it to be much dumber than that. I don't want it to give like correct answers. I want it to be kind of like the Magic 8 Ball kind of thing.
Right.
So but like a little bit more sophisticated.
So if I say, how many stars are there in the Milky Way, it can just say more than 2 or something like that.
It'll be like, I know that you're asking about quantity, so I will respond with some random number.
Right. So it could be like 1.3.
It could be, yeah.
Which would not make any sense to the actual question, but would be very funny.
Yes. And I think that's, so if we ever see an XKCD of that, we know you're listening, Randall. Please settle our
and
disputes.
we'll sue you if you don't pay us. So it's our idea first.
All right, maybe we should start a competing webcomic where that's our only comic.
XKDC.
XKDC. Yes, I wonder if that domain is available.
It probably is.
I feel like maybe it's, well, you know what? XKDC.com. XKDC.com refused to connect. Does that mean it's available, or does that mean somebody...
Yeah. It means, I don't know.
Nobody's like...
Right, it means either it's available or somebody owns it, but they just haven't actually set up a website.
It's not like a public site. Fair enough. So, be on the lookout for Joel the Podcast's new webcomic.
It at least resolved to some address. The address didn't respond.
Right. Okay, so there is more to this email, so we should move on. David says, next, with regards to the soda stream, trademark, my problem is that I would buy a bottle of soda, especially larger bottles, and not be able to finish it. And it would then lose its carbonation very quickly and become gross. I thought maybe using a soda stream, trademark, would help me finish the soda without waste by recarbonating the now carbonated drink. I think 5 minutes, 22 seconds should be sufficient to finish the discussion. So, why don't you set a timer and we'll give our response to this idea. 5 minutes, 22 seconds. Starting a few seconds ago. I suppose this is part of the time.
Basically, that seems like it's probably not worth it to me. I would say that if that's your situation, then your best bet is to buy smaller amounts of soda. Like, I don't know what you're drinking, but like I know the Coca-Cola brand, so Coke, Sprite, all those ones sell like pretty small cans if you really don't drink that much.
Right.
So, small bottles as well.
So it's interesting because I actually think that this is one of the best use cases for a soda stream. Because then you're not, using up any sort of syrup or whatever that you would have to like continuously buy as well. So it's not really like the soda stream is a tool rather than an ongoing investment of like creating your homemade soda.
It's a tool, except that you're buying a soda stream and then still buying soda, which is like the total opposite of what it's actually meant for, right?
But if you do have the soda stream, you're still, for the amount of soda that he's buying and attempting to drink, with a soda stream, it sounds like he would be drinking more of what he has purchased. Like the efficiency is going up, even if the cost doesn't change.
I don't disagree. Yes, that's
because of the soda stream.
I think that's an accurate description of how it would be used. I just don't think it's worth it. Like,
okay.
Unless you're talking like you drink 50% of each of your sodas, then maybe then you're doubling your soda. That might be worth it. But like, I assumed that it's like you're drinking 80% of it, and the last 20% is goes flat. And in that case, I would say it's certainly not worth it. Just buy smaller soda.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's probably a tipping point somewhere where like you said, if you're only like, if there's like an inch left in the bottom of your bottle, there's no need to invest in a soda stream to fix that problem. But I don't know. I don't remember exactly what we were discussing the other week in terms of, I guess this was probably 3 weeks ago if he's had a response to this now. But like, point being, we were thinking like, oh, make your own soda. That seems like a potential use case. But like, this, I don't know. This to me seems like a better use than making your own.
See, I keep generalizing it further and getting back to the original. Like, I'm like, okay, so if you are drinking 50% of your bottles of soda and throwing away the rest, then it's worth it, right? Because you're doubling the amount of soda you can have. So in that case, if you're going to get one, you may as well just start buying large quantities of soda, right? Because there's no loss in efficiency from it becoming flat. You can just, and since you get a cheaper price for buying in bulk, right? But then I'm like, what if you didn't even buy the soda in bulk? You just bought the syrup and you carbonated the water. That must be cheaper and more efficient, right? And then I just came back to the original use of the soda stream. So, which leads me to conclude that it's strictly worse to just buy sodas and recarbonate them than to buy just, the syrup that that the soda stream is actually meant for. So,
probably from like a purely cost perspective, that's accurate.
Right.
I don't. There's something about the fact that it's intended as a tool to solve an existing problem, rather than, like, an appliance with ongoing cost based on buying the syrup and stuff. I'm pretty willing to spend money on tools, I think, is where I'm.
Honestly, I guess the bottom line is, if you're like throwing away enough of your drink that you're like considering buying a soda stream to solve that problem, it's probably worth it to buy the soda stream, is my guess. But I just think that it's not the best possible solution to your problem. The best possible solution is to buy the soda. If you're gonna buy the soda stream, it's better to not even buy the sodas anymore. But if you're
smaller.
Yeah, if you're not gonna buy the soda stream, then just buy small. It's like the worst of. It's better than doing nothing, right? But it's worse than any other solution. It's like, if you get what I'm saying.
You're like going two different directions toward inefficiency in your mind of whichever one of those solutions you pick, when the real efficiency is getting the soda stream and making your own.
Right. It's like the solution to this is you could go one way or the other, and this solution just kind of sits in the middle, so it's not as good as going one way or the other, but it is better than just not doing anything. So, so I guess that's what my opinion is, and that's
there. You have it.
So, there's your advice.
Excited to hear the update, the thrilling conclusion to the soda stream discussion.
Indeed.
To wrap up this email, David says, as for the interesting idea for the soda stream, which is what we were discussing several weeks ago at this point, that is not soda related. If I end up getting the soda stream, trademark, and Nathan chooses to come visit me for whatever reason, then I'll serve Nathan carbonated pizza broth. If you think about it, it's the same as eating a slice of pizza and drinking soda, except it's pre-mixed. I think it will certainly be an interesting to try, and I bet Alex will agree.
It's funny that he would say, like, if you think about it, it's that, because when I think about it, I just want to throw up, so...
See, the biggest issue, I think, is that the mixing of the pizza and soda doesn't happen in my mouth, it happens in my stomach.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to, like, taste them in my mouth differently, even if they're going to end up mixed together eventually.
Uh-huh.
That's not the experience you go into.
This is like the worst of every world, right? Because, so first of all, we agree that carbonated water is terrible, right?
Carbonated water is literally the worst.
So, presumably pizza broth is like mostly water, I would say.
Right. I'm imagining like water with a tinge of pizza taste. Maybe.
So you're taking carbonated water, which is already terrible, and adding pizza flavor, I guess,
but just a little bit.
I think it would make the pizza... Like, I think pizza-flavored water would be even worse than just regular water. I don't know that for sure, but that's what I think. And then, I also don't know this for sure, but it sounds like it would be hot, like, because it's broth. So you're having hot, slightly pizza-flavored carbonated water, and you're trying to tell me that's an interesting thing to drink. I think that would be a disgusting thing to drink.
I think disgusting and interesting aren't necessarily mutually exclusive.
They're not
that I'm disagreeing with anything that you said.
Right. I guess... I don't know. It doesn't really strike me as particularly interesting or uninteresting. It just strikes me as gross.
We reserve judgment as to whether this idea is interesting. However, this idea is terrible.
I guess for an idea to be interesting, I have to be like, oh, I hadn't, I'm not sure what that would be like, or, oh, I'm curious to find out what that would be like, which is not the case for this. I'm pretty sure it would be terrible, and I have no interest in confirming that. So.
All right. There you have it. There's your answer, David. We have now addressed all of the points in this email. And it's time to move on. A mere 25 minutes into the podcast.
That was a pretty good email content-wise, like, as far as giving us content to talk about. So, thank you for that email very much, Steven. I know I kind of roasted you a little bit, but we do appreciate it, as always.
You know what I like? I'm a fan of this, like, timed discussion.
Uh-huh.
It almost it feels a bit like a debate, where you gotta like put out your points, and then like you've gotta make sure you're not just rambling on and spewing nonsense. Maybe that's why he gives us a time limit.
Right, because I was gonna say we could probably fill like 30 minutes talking about that discussion. Like, so I guess it's a shame to me that we can't use the full 30 minutes, but it may be his intention. So
yeah. To improve the content, he is, subliminally messaging us by giving us time limits.
Subliminally messaging by giving us an overt signal that we should not talk about it for that long.
Very specifically telling us to limit the conversation. That being said, we're now moving on to the portion of the podcast where we have no limits, and we will ramble as long as we darn well please. So...
Yes.
What are we going to ramble about this week?
I already forgot. I know we just talked about it like, I guess 25 minutes ago now. But what are we doing today?
All right. Well, in that case, what we are doing today is rehashing the idea we had with David many episodes ago.
Yeah.
To look up online quizzes about like what kind of rain are you, or what kind of chess piece are you, or like the weirdest ones we can find, and then we'll go through those quizzes, and not only will the listeners learn about what kind of rain we are, etc. Hopefully we'll have some interesting tidbits to share along the way. So
I just want to shout out. I listened to that episode when we were listening back for the anniversary episode. And I don't really know how much you remember about it, but the "What rain are you?" quiz was like 30 questions long, which is like 15 questions longer than it needed to be.
I do remember
and
that.
some of the questions were extremely personal and like deep, like. And I think that was the most fun we had with any of the quizzes. So kudos to the "What rain are you?" quiz.
That being said, let's see if we can top it. What else do we have out there?
I really like this one in here. By the way, most of these quizzes are sent by David the last time, so thanks again for these, David. But I think that we should do, what kind of macaroni and cheese person are you?
Ooh, that's a good one. I like that. I like that phrasing because I'm not sure if it's going to end up telling us about a kind of macaroni and cheese, or like a type of person.
It's a type of macaroni and cheese person, clearly.
What? I guess what is that?
I don't know.
I guess we'll find out.
I assume it's like something like, oh, I'm a muncher, meaning I like to take big spoonfuls of my macaroni and cheese, or I'm a picker, which means I like to eat only like one at a time, or something like that. Obviously, I just made those up off the top of my head, and I don't think those will be the actual ones, but like something like that. I really
hope that it's literally a choice between muncher and picker.
Oh my gosh, I would be like, a prophet if that's what it is. All right. Yeah. So this quiz is from Quotev.com. What kind of macaroni and cheese person are you? Here we go. Question the first. Before or during cooking, do you take into consideration anybody else who might want some of that macaroni you're cooking? The choices are: I don't like macaroni / I'm allergic and thus don't really find myself cooking it. Typically, or at least probably, I ask someone else to cook it for me, or it's just there. Maybe, but the chances are I'm making it for myself. My answer is that if I'm with people, I'll absolutely take that into consideration, but usually I'm not.
Right.
So I think I'll answer typically, or at least probably.
Yeah, I think I've got to go with that one as well. I think, a lot of the time I do make myself like literally a single serving of mac and cheese, but like if there were other people to consider, I wouldn't just not consider them. So yeah, that really does feel like the best choice.
Which best describes you? Question the second. Which best describes you when you first start cooking, gathering ingredients, starting up the stove, etc.? I don't cook my macaroni / I get microwave dinner macaroni. Wrong answer. I find the amounts I think I would enjoy, such as extra cheese slices if I like cheese, and start up the stove at a temperature that cooks it how I'd like it. I find either the average amount of ingredients, follow the box, or follow some sort of recipe. I'll start the stove at the right temperature. You normally wouldn't catch me cooking it. I'm not sure how that's different from the first one. But it's the third one for me, following a recipe.
Yeah. I guess, I don't know. None of these are really catching my attention. I think maybe the second one is the most accurate.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll talk you through my routine and see if you agree. So essentially what I'll do is turn my stovetop like all the way up to boil the water as quickly as possible, and then I'll dump in what looks to be the right amount of macaroni and cook it.
Mm-hmm.
And then once that's cooked, you drain it, you put in the cheese sauce ingredients into your pot, and then
do you follow a recipe for those cheese pot ingredients, or you just kind of measure with your heart?
It was a recipe once, and I do measure some of the ingredients, but the cheese and the like the salt and pepper that you put in, I just kind of like grab a handful of cheese or sprinkle the salt straight into the pot instead of...
Right.
But it's not like, completely free form, like it'll end up different every time. I follow a routine. It's just not a written recipe.
Right. Well, I think that
letter.
pretty much pretty well fits the second one. Like the second answer isn't like I do it randomly. It's like I do it how I like it.
All right. I do it how I like it. That's right.
Indeed. That's what she said. Question the third. While cooking, what do you do? Cook. Option 1, I nibble on some of the ingredients. For example, if there's cheese, I'll eat a little bit of it. Or otherwise lick the spoon, etc. Otherwise, the cooking is tailored to my style and comfort. These are some long answers. Option the second, I might lick the spoon, but nothing extra. The third, I just cook the macaroni. If I do anything extra, I make sure not to contaminate the food. For example, licking a spoon and then getting a new spoon for cooking. And again, I don't cook my macaroni. I don't like macaroni. Why would you take this quiz if you were going to answer that you didn't like or don't eat macaroni and cheese?
Yeah, I'm kind of interested now to go through this quiz one more time and just pick the, I don't eat macaroni and, don't cook it, don't like it, all those answers, and see what kind of macaroni and cheese person that makes me.
Yeah, so I'm going to go with the third option, which is I just cook it because I'm not a weirdo.
Yeah, I mean, you're exactly right. I feel like we might get the same answers to most, if not all, of these questions. Except for the last one, I suppose.
Yeah.
Could answer that differently.
The macaroni is done. How much do you have? Number 1, a reasonable serving, not too much or too little, an average dinner. Number 2, I may or may not have seconds or a little more than a serving, depending upon how I feel. Third, I have as much as I want. 4, all of it. 5, I don't take any of it.
So these are really strange choices. I feel like most of them are just different ways of saying I eat the amount of macaroni that I eat.
Oh, okay. When I read this question, I thought it meant how much macaroni do you make compared to how much you eat. But you're right. It clearly means how much you eat compared to how much you made.
Yeah, so you eat a reasonable serving, or you eat as much as you want. Those kind of feel like I guess that seems to imply that as much as I want is more than a reasonable amount. Right.
I think as much as I want is a more general statement, So if you don't eat a reasonable serving, then you should say as much as I want, or if you don't meet the first two ones, right? As much as I want is like basically the other from the three that are defined amounts, in my opinion, which is how much I eat. I don't eat a serving of macaroni and cheese. Macaroni and cheese when I make it is my entire meal,
right?
Usually, so. Yep. But I don't eat all of it usually. I usually make more than one serving of it, so more than one dinner of it. So I'm gonna go with as much as I want.
Yeah, if I do make it for myself and not for like multiple people, I do specifically attempt to make approximately the amount that I want to eat. So I'm gonna go ahead and say all of it.
All of it. Yeah. So how do you eat your macaroni? I eat it and enjoy it. There is a slight chance I'm scarfing it down because of that. 2, I pace myself while eating. If I'm full, I stop eating. 3, I eat till I'm full, but maybe if it's good, maybe another bite. 4, I just eat it? Question mark, question mark, question mark. And 5, I do not, son of a bitch, I do not eat my macaroni. I don't eat anybody's macaroni.
I like dumb. The attitude coming off of these choices. I gotta say, I'm personally identifying with that third answer then. Maybe another bite even if I'm full. Mac and cheese is pretty good.
I think my personal is either 2 or 4. Like, probably just 4. Like, I don't specifically... Oh. I accidentally clicked one of the answers. I don't even know which one I clicked.
I guess you have your answer then.
Well, yeah. So the real answer was 4. I just eat it. I don't specifically pace myself, but I do, stop eating when I'm full. I don't eat it so fast that I'm like, yeah, you get it.
Yep.
All right, final question, number 6. Oh, by the way, you said which one you did. Yeah, okay. So number 6, on a scale of okay to delicious, how much do you enjoy your macaroni? The answers are okay, good, maybe even great. Oh, yes, all caps, and I don't, as always. So I would say good, maybe even great for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll give a slight complaint that this question isn't actually on a scale of okay to delicious.
That's a reasonable complaint.
That being said, I'm going to go with oh, yes.
I think you're going to maybe get the same... I'm very disappointed with my result. What's your result?
My result is slow down there, Jimmy. You really love macaroni. When you cook it, you effectively dominate the macaroni. Probably lick the spoon and then keep cooking with it. Gross. And make a statement about your love of macaroni. You might take more than is portioned for one person per se. This isn't to share. It's yours. It's all yours.
I got typical macaroni eater. You like macaroni as much as the next guy. You wouldn't have it every day without good reason, but you still enjoy it when you do eat it. When cooking, you might not really eat it or lick the spoon as you go. You probably eat it decently portioned, or maybe not. That's questionable. Either way, you're just the average Joe macaroni preparer and eater. That's terrible. You should not be able to get typical macaroni eater as an option.
That's so nondescriptive. Chances are you came into this quiz looking for some kind of like description of your macaroni eating, and you just get typical.
Mm-hmm.
For the record, I did go back and quickly click through all of the I don't eat macaroni choices, and the answer you get is you probably don't like or can't eat macaroni.
Yes, these are the four options you can get. You can get it's nice, typical macaroni eater, slow down there, Jimmy, or you probably don't like or can't eat it. And my results were actually even split between it's nice and typical macaroni eater, so I'm upset that they gave me typical macaroni eater.
I actually didn't notice that at the bottom. I'm gonna select my choices again to analyze my
Out of the
personality
over
or whatever.
1,100 people who have taken this quiz, 24 of them have gotten you probably don't like or can't eat macaroni. And I would bet that the majority of them, if not all of them, are just people like you who are like, who's answering? Like, what do you get if you answer these different things?
You don't stumble across this quiz if you're not looking for it. So, all right. Well, I feel like that was a questions wise pretty good start, but unfortunately a bit of a disappointment when it comes to the results that you could get. So
yes. All right. Why don't you pick out the next quiz?
All right. Let's. This is definitely another one that I'm very interested to see what the possible choices are. It's from the same message from David. It's a quiz from playbuzz.com, and it is, what kind of taco are you? So,
let's start. Cats are great, but now that we have taco emoji, it's time to find out just what kind of tacos fill our souls con sabor, which I guess is Spanish for something.
With saber.
Choose your meat. Cow. Oh, here we go. Lamb, meat is murder, beef, or pork? Beef. Do you like onions? Onions? Gross! I have a meeting later and can't have an onion breath. I can take 'em or leave 'em. Onions are my BFF. I'll go with I can take 'em or leave 'em.
Yeah, trying to think if any of the like taco like things that I eat have onion in them. Maybe, but it's not like an oniony taste. I'm probably gonna go with onions gross, because if it was like a taco bar, I wouldn't put onions on it.
All right, next question is, how do you feel about cilantro? Critical topping, gross, it tastes like soap, or you mean coriander? Which I don't really know what that means.
Are cilantro and coriander the same thing?
I don't think so.
Cilantro versus coriander. They come from the same plant. Cilantro is the leaves and stem, and coriander is the name for the dried seeds. This is in the US. Internationally, the leaves and stem are coriander, and its dried seeds are coriander seeds, which seems reasonable.
I was not paying any attention because there's an ad that I have, which is a picture of a wrench, and it says, "Can you name this tool? Only 4% of women can name these 15 basic tools. Can you?"
Oh, man. Well, I feel like it would be unfair to take that quiz since we're not women. But
I don't really like cilantro, so I'm gonna. Even though I don't really think it's like gross, tastes like soap bad, I don't like it, so I'm gonna put that answer.
Yeah, I honestly don't know what to say here either. Like, I also don't think it tastes like soap. If it was on there, I might not even notice. I might just say critical topping just because, why not?
Hard or soft shell?
You mean coriander? No, critical topping.
The answer is both. Let's see what the options are. Soft shell, where's the option for Doritos shell? I'm more of a taco salad person. Gross. Hard shell. So both.
The answer is definitely soft shell. But I gotta say, if you're gonna have a hard shell taco, it better be the Doritos taco.
If I could only have one, probably go with hard shell. How do you feel about tomatoes? Again, I can take them or leave them. The options are, I'm more of a ketchup person, I love them, but not on my taco, I can take them or leave them, or awesome topping. Okay, but what about tomatillos? Why do these tomatoes have leaves? I told you I'm already a ketchup person, or bring on the toppings. Yeah, I'm going with why do those tomatoes have leaves?
Same.
What about avocados? Sliced, not mashed. Guac is great, but not on my taco. Guacamole! Or gross. Why are you even... I'm putting gross and then in parentheses, why are you even here? I think that's meant to be like if it's the quiz writer is saying, why are you even here if you're answering this answer?
if you don't like guac on your tacos.
Why are you even here?
Yeah.
All right, well, that gives you a result. I got somewhere between an enchilada and a taco. You're caught in limbo, known only as taquito. Look, we get it. Not all people are taco people. You're just not cut out to be street food. You're an oven-baked treat, and that's okay, right?
All right. Well, that's a good result. I got, you're a taco al pastor. You're the most pure form of expression. The taco al pastor. Simple, elegant, and delicious. You're why I've ruined so many shirts, and I don't even care. Which seems like, pretty high expectations to live up to, being the most pure form of taco, but I'm here for it.
Nice. All right. So there's a quiz on here that David sent a little further down called What the Fuck is Wrong with You? Do you remember if we did that?
I think we did that one at the end. I don't
Okay.
remember if it was part of the podcast or not, but I'm pretty sure we did go through it.
I just want to start it again, see if I can jog my memory.
Sure. I'll look through for another one.
Oh yeah, I remember this one. This quiz was written by seems to be written by some kind of edgy young adult / teenager.
Yeah.
That somebody. Okay, this is what it is. This quiz was written by somebody who has a Tumblr blog.
Now that you say that, I'm remembering more detail.
This is terrible. All right. Anyway.
All right.
So, did you pick one out?
Yeah, I don't. Do you remember if we did the "What South American country are you really from?" quiz?
No, I'm pretty sure we didn't, or at least I don't remember doing it.
All right,
So-
let's go for it. Let's see what we're doing.
All right.
Have you ever wondered if you were actually a fun-loving South
There we go.
American? We'll find out what South American country you are from here.
Surprisingly,
Let's
no. This is
start.
another one from playbuzz.com.
Your doctor's appointment was scheduled at 8:48. What a weird time. What time do you show up? I'll show up at 9. They can wait for me a few minutes. 8:48. That is the time they asked me to go. That is the time that I arrived. 8:50. Who schedules their appointments at 8:48? Or, it depends when I remember.
Yeah, it's going to be 8:48 for me. Really, I
Yeah,
would probably show up at
it's-
8:45 because I really don't like showing up at such a time as 8:48. But
Yeah. It's
That's
it's
probably-
funny. It's like there is a option for that, but that option is showing up even later. So if you're trying to show up on time, you gotta pick the weird thing.
and 8:50 is less round than 8:45. So I don't know why that's the
Right.
round option. Give me 8:45. All right.
8:45 for sure. How much do you drink when you go to a party? A lot. 2 drinks, I don't drink, or 1 drink.
Generally 0, although I did drink a little bit this weekend.
Excited. Was it 1 drink, or 2 drinks, or a lot?
No, I think I had 2 drinks each night.
Ooh, well there you go.
Crazy, right?
Yeah, what a weekend. I think I'll go with 2 drinks. I feel like I would pick a lot because it may be more than 2 drinks, but I think the attitude of a lot is a lot, which is
A lot
not
is
really what I'm going for.
you're getting drunk, right?
Yeah. Yep. Do you and your family like to cook? No, we prefer takeout. Depends. Or yes, we cook every day.
I cook every day, but I don't like it.
Yeah, I think the realist answer is depends. Because yeah, I do a lot of cooking, but I especially enjoy the days where Sometimes you just get fancy food from a restaurant and don't put in the effort, and that's nice. So
Yeah,
it depends.
I put yes because like I said, I do cook almost every day, even though, yeah, I don't really enjoy it.
This quiz just started playing a YouTube video.
Yeah, I have to scroll down for the question.
Do you have pride for your country, or do you not care? I don't really care about country pride. It depends. Or yes, I have tell everyone where I am from, and I show it.
Yeah, this one's, again, you kind of got to pick an extreme, or
Right.
just nothing with it depends. Like, I have national pride, but I don't, like, have to tell people. I don't have, like, an American flag shirt. So
Yeah. I feel
pick-
like almost an interesting kind of alternative reading of this question is if you kind of, like, identify with the region of the U.S. that you're from. Especially since it's different for the two of us, and especially for you since you went to college in a different place. I feel like you may have had the opportunity more to experience the difference.
Yeah, there's not that much of it. There are differences, but it's really not
Right.
that different. My sister, who goes to school in Maryland, likes to say that she goes to school in the South.
Oh man. Well, that's certainly one take on Maryland. I think
So
I'm just gonna.
I picked the I'm proud I have to tell everyone option, even though I don't actually have to tell everyone.
Yeah, I think I'll just say it depends. How do you greet someone when you first meet them? Handshake? Hug? I just say hello, or a kiss on the cheek.
Handshake.
Pre-COVID, I assume.
When you first, who's gonna kiss someone on the cheek when you first meet them or hug them?
Certain South Americans, apparently.
I guess handshake for me.
Yeah, I think I just say hello. Although I wouldn't, like, if somebody offers me a handshake, I'm not going to not shake their hand. Well, now I am. But before the plague struck. Do you care about the view from your house? If so, which one?
Ooh, I like this question.
So there are some images here. I think it pretty much sums up what it is from the descriptions. I prefer a beach view. I prefer a city view. I prefer a mountain view. Or no. You don't care.
No. I prefer a city view.
You prefer a city view? I'm kind of torn between a beach view and a mountain view. I suppose I don't really care that much, but like all else being the same, I would pick one.
Right, keep in mind that this has nothing to do with whether you prefer actually being at a beach or a mountain. It's just which one you like looking at more.
Which one you like looking at more? That's a good point. I feel like looking at a beach is more fun. All right. Do you get road rage easily? Yes, no, or it depends.
No.
I feel like I can't say no. I think we've discussed on the podcast before how I get annoyed at people for doing dumb things on the road.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't feel like I just, get irrationally angry all the time. So maybe I'll say it depends.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm giving the neutral answer for a lot of these questions, but here we go. Are you religious? Why do I have to tell you? Yes, totally. No, or it depends on the day.
Indeed. Yes for me.
Yep. Why do I have to tell you? That's an interesting answer.
I was going to say, like, why is this quiz having that? But I think that's actually a decent question for a quiz like this.
Yeah, as far as, like, cultural identity of South American countries, I can definitely see that being a distinctive difference. All right, are you more laid back or uptight? obviously the choices are uptight or laid back. Don't know
Laid
what else
back.
there would be here. Yeah, I think I'll go for laid back as well. Do you like company? Yes, the more the merrier. Not too many people, but not too little. Or no, I like to fly solo.
I think my answer's even though I'm an extrovert, I think it's definitely not too many people, but not too little.
Yeah.
I'm not really of the mindset where it's like, sure, I'll just, have anyone come along, more people the better. It's more like I like hanging out with people, but I want to hang out with the people I like, if you know what I mean.
It's got to be the good people, not just any people. Yeah. I think I'll agree with that. I think I would tend toward the opposite end of the extroversion spectrum, but I think I'll agree to go with this middle option as well. Not too many people, but not too little. All right, and our final question. Do you really want to be South American? The choices are yes, I think I was South American in my past life. I like where I am now, but I wouldn't mind being South American. Or no, I'm just bored. I feel like I don't know, I wouldn't really mind being South American, but the truest answer is no, I'm just bored.
I picked I wouldn't mind being South American option.
All right. Well,
I think we had some pretty different answers, so we should get different results.
Let's hope so. What did you get?
Mexico. You are Mexican. You like to drink. Wait a minute, I picked that I don't drink. Yes, you drink to celebrate, and there are so many reasons to celebrate. Parties go until late. You are so caught up having a great time that you forget about the time and how tired you are. The drinks might have something to do with that. You are also religious. You pray and you do most of your holy requirements. You also have a symbol of your religion in your house. Your family loves cooking. Never do you need to cater because everyone wants to make a special something for a celebration. There you go.
First impressions, Mexico is in North America, but
that's true.
I guess I guess it is south of America. So
yeah, I guess they included Central America, so they really meant like Latin America.
Right. I got Chile. You're Chilean. You're always on time for everything. If your appointment for the dentist is at 7:49, then you will be there at 7:49, not 7:50, 7:49. You love carbs. Carbs are the center of your plate. When you greet people, you give them a kiss on the cheek, even if you are meeting them for the first time. When you go to a party or just a friendly gathering, you always bring something. You can't show up empty-handed. That just kills you. You also have trust issues. Chileans believe their country to be far more dangerous than it actually is. Therefore, you trust no one, except your family and close friends. You are also formal in the way you speak to people. It might be your best friend, but you always just talk formally. You always just talk more formally than you have to.
I feel like that entire thing was completely wrong about you. Like, I don't remember a single thing that was like, yeah, that sounds like Nathan.
Yeah, the other thing I don't think the Mexico one did have a couple of things that were like very specific answers from the quiz that you just didn't answer, right? Like the drinking one, but like this one as well, like arriving on time at the dentist thing, like yeah, that was an answer I gave in that way. I don't give people a kiss on the cheek when I meet them. If I showed up to a party empty-handed, I would be pretty okay with that.
Yep.
That's so interesting. Interesting.
Like, I actually felt like mine was okay. Like, it was maybe like 70% accurate, and then yours was just 100%, like 0% accurate. And that's pretty funny.
Yeah. So I'm sure Chile's a great place, but
yeah, not to bash on Chile. It's just not. Nathan would never be from Chile.
Right. So let's. What do you think about doing one more?
Let's do one more. I think, let's see, did we do what vegetable are you last time?
Not that I remember.
Let's do that. It's the first one that David sent.
From Quotev?
Yep.
Okay.
What vegetable are you? What is your favorite season? I think we discussed this last time. Spring for me.
Yeah, this is a pretty common question. I'll go with fall.
When you have some alone time, what do you do? Exercise? No. Read? Sometimes. Watch YouTube? Not that much. Browse the web? Not that much. Play video games with my friends? Not that much. Work on school stuff? Once that's done, I nap? No. Explore nature? Not that much. So I think I gotta go with read. I think it's the most accurate one.
Yeah, that's the one I want to pick, but also watching YouTube and eating snacks is pretty...
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, YouTube and snacks I think is a good one for you.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
What kind of movies do you like? Comedies? For pure ironic enjoyment? You can't laugh at a comedy like a normal person? Okay. Nature documentaries? Preferably narrated by Neil deGrasse Tyson or Morgan Freeman. 90s to 2000s teen flicks like Clueless and Mean Girls. Cult classics a la Quentin Tarantino. Animated stuff like Studio Ghibli or Disney. The latest stuff in theaters. Thrillers and psychological horror movies. I guess I'll go with the latest stuff in theaters.
I'm going to go with comedies not for ironic enjoyment, but just the regular kind of enjoyment.
Yeah,
although I do have to
edgy
say...
answer.
I'm a little worried that it's going to give me the edgy vegetables for picking that answer.
I like comedies, but I'm not I think it's all stupid and contrived. I like to laugh at how stupid it is. All right. In a perfect world, where would you live? The middle of the woods, isolated, in a mansion with all my best friends. I'd travel the world in one of those fancy tiny houses, in a small hut on the beach where I can relax. Who's going to pick a small hut? Come on. A penthouse in the top floor of a New York City skyscraper, a beautiful foreign country with a language I can learn, shops to explore, and friends to make. Give me that NYC penthouse.
Nice. I don't know. Several of these sound like pretty good choices to me.
They all sound like pretty good choices except for the shack, honestly. And the tiny house
live in a small hut?
Yeah, I would not like to live in a small hut. The tiny one where you're traveling around is like okay, definitely the second worst though.
Yeah. I think before I had a more reasonable amount of space in my apartment, I would have been more okay with a small hut or a fancy tiny house, whatever that means, but I think those are the two I need to rule out. I think living in a mansion with my friends would be fun, but also the middle of the woods would be pretty good.
By yourself, though, it is isolated.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like, actually, you know what? I gotta rule that one out. Not because I don't think I would like it, but just because it would be kind of inconvenient. Like, if you didn't have to go to, like, the store for groceries or anything, I would probably be totally fine with it. But, like, having to go 30 or 40 minutes just to go to, like, a town to, get your supplies and whatnot.
Right.
That would just get really old really quickly. I'll go within a mansion.
That's a good answer. I'll live in the mansion with you.
Excellent.
What kind of clothes do you wear? Athletic stuff like basketball shorts, t-shirts, etc. Cute graphic t-shirts and breathable leggings. That's me. Muted colors with jeans, nothing too flashy. Outfits inspired by my favorite celebrities or what I see on Pinterest. Vintage thrifted outfits, or dark goth/emo clothes, or band t-shirts. I'll go with muted colors with jeans, nothing too flashy. As you can see, that's pretty much what I'm wearing right now.
Same, but I'm really curious now. If I were to pick the dark goth emo clothes, I feel like it really does have an edgy vegetable in mind for me.
What vegetable is edgy? It must be like quinoa or something like. I don't even know if quinoa is a vegetable, but
it's gonna be like one of the like hipster vegetables, like kale or something.
It's gonna be like kale. What brings you the most joy? Succeeding at something I've been working towards, seeing people smile because of something I did or said, getting stronger so I can help the people I love, waking up in the morning knowing I have a full day ahead of me, or being with the person I love, whether it be my boyfriend, girlfriend, family, or best friend.
I have to say, waking up in the morning knowing you have a full day ahead of you is pretty much the worst experience. So, I'm gonna rule that one out.
I think it depends upon what the day is.
That's true.
Like, if I'm on vacation and I have, like, fun stuff planned, that's pretty exciting.
That is pretty good.
But
it's like 90% of the time.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to have that, like, all the time.
Yeah.
Reminds me of the first Brooklyn Nine-Nine episode where they went on the cruise, and Doug Judy was there, and on the cruise, Amy had, like, every single hour or minute planned, and then Jake was like, let's just sit around and do nothing. Anyway, I'm gonna go with the last one, being with the person I love.
All right, I think I will go with succeeding at something I've been working towards.
Good answer. Question the 7th out of 7. What is your favorite fruit? This one's kinda random. Grapes, oranges, apples, not a fruit fan, or watermelon?
Ooh, watermelon is like a double wide option.
I'll go with oranges, because I think that's my favorite out of the group.
I am going to say it's tough. Watermelon's really good. I also like grapes. I also like apples. But just for the sheer width of this box, I think I'm gonna have to pick watermelon.
What an excellent reason.
Yeah. Ooh, all right. So that's the results. I got bok choy.
What's the description?
It says, "You're an exuberant, fun, and open-minded person with a welcoming spirit. You're always smiling, and you're always there for your friends. Lucky numbers 17, 4, and 9.
I also got bok choy.
I feel like we answered so differently.
Yeah. I feel like it's upsetting that you failed to mention that's a picture of bok choy that says "Choy to the world" on it. So, just wanted everyone to know that. And I like how 2 of the lucky numbers are perfect squares, although I hate that one of them's prime.
I didn't notice that for sure. So this is the site that gives you the breakdown of your answer. So I can tell you that my top 3 were bok choy, onion, and broccoli.
Mine were bok choy, cucumber, and celery. Bok choy is the most popular result, too.
I feel basic.
Oh, you could have gotten "You're a fruit" on the "What vegetable are you" quiz.
Maybe that's the edgy one.
And that feels like the... Yeah, that feels like the edgy one.
You show up to the vegetable quiz and you're like, "Nah, man, I'm a fruit."
Fuck you, I'm a fruit. Alright. I think that's going to do it for this episode.
Yeah, so...
Thanks for listening, everybody. Let us know what kind of vegetable you are, according to this quiz.
You don't have to take the quiz or anything. You can just... You know what? I would really love to have somebody send us... This is another one of those things that's funnier to think about than it is to actually do, so nobody's going to do it. But wouldn't it just be great to get like a 1,000-word email of somebody explaining to us why they're a celery?
Yep.
That would be... If somebody works up the motivation to do that, that'll be certainly the greatest email that we've ever received. So,
indeed. I also would want to encourage any listeners to send us a quiz of your own.
Yeah,
for sure. Ask us a few questions, and then once we answer it on the air, send us an email about what we are.
Imagine if it was just a bunch of generic questions, and then they weren't telling us how they were categorizing us. They were just... That might be kind of interesting mystery quiz. I
would think it'd be funny if it was like, a quiz, like what plant are you or whatever, and then they ask a bunch of like totally random questions that seem like they have nothing to do with what plant you are, and then they just give you a plant with no explanation. Congratulations, you're a hydrangea.
All right. Well, yeah, lots of great emails that we can think of for you to send us. So, looking
We should
forward
just
to
send
receiving
ourselves
all
these
of them.
emails. Yeah. All right. That's the end of the episode. Thanks for listening, everybody. I'm Alex.
I'm Alex.
And this has been
Joel.